for my bed, get your whole universe destroyed. Take your face off, all cast Detroit. I'm a disaster boy, extinction level asteroid. Impact is fascinoid, born in the blackest void. He talks shit, he ain't know who he's facing. I cheese grade him, get savage, that's the TNathan. No patience like they shut down the hospital. When to get to me, it's not possible, not probable. Man, it's all illogical. I've been sick, this shit is chronicle. Hands we hold them, the face shows how we hold them. Y'all keep making noise trying to get noticed. Y'all can't see me, you got no focus. I show up, they disappear. Hocus pocus for no respect. When your boys come to sweat, when I fall on, already from 41 step. Target select, target acquisition. When them shells rain down, you look like a bad car collision. Come get it, come with it. I beat them into submission or play it safe and hit them from some distance. Long range, close range, however I deliver. Shit you're gonna remember. I go for kill shots, not to injure. Many bars got no hold. Show them how to use the flow. Man, you can't move the flow. They stay pissed off, cause I'm this hard. I lock rocket raccoons down to lift off.
Kids. Hit them with my missile loading spaceship to fuck up, decapitate, brush for sick. Ravish and rock rude. Disrespectful nigga, haka loopy, your pity fool. Shit. Far from a small fry. Knuckle up two black guys from black guys. Listen, man. Bust flames I don't miss. No game on range, turn your dome to redness. People on TikTok, face to face with rock, talk shit, you get knocked out. Dead. Conservative static, sight, picture, bus, rounds, hunting season, you silly rabbit, tricks and king.
Heck, bananas, I'll kill you. Yo, yo, yo. Greetings, salutations. Welcome to Conversations with TNathan, GCPR Network on social media. Just getting started. Just getting started. I apologize for being late. Yeah, I'm late. I'm late. Yeah, that's the story of my life. I am always late. The song that I did like 2 years ago. I just was listening to it while I was preparing for the show. I like all the instrumentals, but I want to hear more of your voice. Yeah, the voices going with it is what I want to hear, Kim. Yeah, and send me what are you under on other platforms, on your platforms? What are you under? What is your name under on the other platforms? How's everybody doing tonight? I'm talking to Kim, and I am not even giving you all a greeting. Um, greetings, salutations. You're listening to TNathan, and this is my show. Yeah, this is my show. So that means we do it my way. Conversations with TNathan on the GCPR network from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, or 11 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, and you can figure it out from there. Greetings and salutations. I see the fam is coming in. Fam is coming in, even though it doesn't tell me. Let's try that. Let's try that. All right, and put it back there. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Can y'all hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it's been a week. It has definitely been a week of videos. How are you all doing? Everybody safe? Everybody safe and sound out there? Oh, just a minute. I can't. Fun in the Rain is my favorite because it creates nostalgia. Yes, it does. It does. It's when I first saw the title, I thought of Janet and Lisa Fisher doing the vocals on "Making Love in the Rain." Yeah, and it was a pleasure to hear it. Yeah. So what do y'all think about this week? Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot going on this week. We have the Super Friends will be meeting at the Democratic National Convention starting on August the 19th in approximately 17 days in Chicago. Today, Kamala Harris secured, well, she's been secured enough votes to be the presumptive nominee and the nominee, but they did an electronic thing today, and she had way, you only needed 1,974. She was well over 3,000 committed votes. They'll be going into the convention and on the 19th, and she will formally accept the nomination then. Um, I just got tired of explaining to people how the process that they say they have been a part of all their life works. It's like taxing. It is like taxing. It's been a crazy week. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Not Uncle T, you doing my comment? No, I'm on the radio from 10 to 11. It's not that I'm ignoring it. I try to put things in context so people that are in radio land also can understand it. And they know who you are. They can't see the comments, and I have several different streams to see them from. So I'm not ignoring any of you all, okay? Yeah, we good? We good. Um, Bella's over here asleep as usual. She'll wake up in the middle of the show and then be like, why aren't we walking? Why aren't we walking? Yeah, and I'm gonna tell her it's y'all's fault. I'm going straight to blaming you all. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I don't know why tonight, not you ignoring Olivia, should be all right. No, I'm not ignoring Olivia. She's not going to. Olivia doesn't like to be ignored. She gets, she, you know how people, short people are. They'll get on you. All right. So tonight, I just want to do a recap of the week and see where you all are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and are we all on the same page about the decisions we need to make going into November? We're under the 95-day mark going into November. Are we going to maintain this level of interest and excitement that we have seen over the last 10 days? Are we going to continue that? Because we must. We must. It has been a long week. Then the Sonia Massey case. Uh, and the revelations we have shared this week have been taxing on people. I know. Um, who's gonna get a birthday present on November the 5th, and who's gonna get thrown out the window? Yeah, that's my stance. That's my stance because we understand what we have to do. It's not like it's a question of what we have to do. Yeah. So, here, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I want to read some comments tonight. I want somebody to engage with me on the topic because I can talk all night, but I want to get some feedback from you all. I want you all to tell me now that you've had time to process it, now that you've heard Kamala Harris in mode for election, where she knows where she's the presumptive nominee. I also will be tackling any misinformation that people want to bring up. I'll do that tonight. And anything you've heard that you would like to get clarification on, yeah, shoot it at me. I got it. I can do this. Any information, misinformation in connection with the Sonia Massey case that you want to go over, while we do that, there's a receipt making its rounds on social media right now. It's the same receipt, right? Every so often, this receipt comes up, and it's yeah, It's about, this time they're using it on undocumented migrants. $13,401.82 receipt that is supposed to be the balance, the balance in a Venezuelan immigrant's EBT account. That is where that crumb snatchers. That's what y'all hear. Can you hear crumb snatchers in the background? Yeah. So you understand that receipt makes its rounds every couple of years, right? Every couple of years, that receipt makes the rounds. And people use it for different things, but it's always usually targeted at minorities. Um, there are only several ways to get $13,401.82, and that's not to mention the $4,000 in cash that they're showing on the receipt. There are only one or two ways to do that. One is like back pay, um, like you were owed some money and they caught up and they back paid it, and I still don't see it to the tune of $13,000. But in order, it amazes me how people don't know how SNAP benefits work when we talk about SNAP, are the things they say in association with these receipts. Because at the end of the day, there's a cap on SNAP benefits. It's like $219 per person after you get up to a household of 8. And in order to get a monthly stipend of $13,000, you would literally have to have like 68 people. Now, speaking of 68 people, it's hard to get on Snap, but if you see a large amount, like 68, that's covering 68 people, you may see that when it comes to dealing with foster care system or community and living environments where the person has to buy the food for the whole community. You might see that. But let me say this succinctly, because I don't think people understand this. Undocumented migrants, undocumented immigrants do not get government assistance. Say that with me. Undocumented immigrants do not get government assistance. I know it's hard. I know it's hard because you hear the stories. Um, who does get government assistance? You can't be undocumented. Think about it. Think about the term undocumented itself. Think about the term undocumented. You're undocumented. So you're not in the system. You're not in do you have any fears that the Supreme Court will help Trump steal the election? No, I don't. No, I don't have those kind of fears. Um, and I'll come back to the undocumented part. Do I have any fears? The question asked to me is, do I have any fears that the Supreme Court will help Trump steal this election? No, I don't have that fear. Because at the end of the day, the Supreme Court will not weigh in unless something else happens. And if that something else happened, like we did with the George Bush Al Gore election, those are after the facts. And the idea that this Supreme Court, even with a 6-3 majority, is not my worry until we get. My worry about the Supreme Court are things like overturning. It's 10 o'clock. Hold on just a minute. Yeah, crumb snatchers and food. Yeah, it's food. Yeah, y'all gonna have to listen to me eat and talk at the same time. Anyway, no, I gotta open the door for the crumb snatchers. Greetings, salutations, everybody. Like I was saying about the Supreme Court. Sorry about that. Like I was saying about the Supreme Court, right? No, I'm not worried. I'm more worried about November the 6th than I am about November the 5th. I don't mean from the stance of the legal system. Come in, say hello to everybody. You know, I hear the crumb snatcher. Crumb snatcher says hello. Ooh, this is supposed to be in the blender. All right. Yeah, y'all see what crumb snatcher bought me. So you understand that the reason I say that is because MAGA supporters are only gonna, and I'm not saying, yeah, all MAGA supporters are maggots, but most of them are, how should I put this tactfully? Lazy slobs, piece of shit. Yeah, they're not going to bust a grape in a fruit salad. But it's a certain percent, and it was a funny breakdown, right? I was watching the breakdown of, they asked far right individuals how many of them were willing to use violence to make sure Donald Trump became president, and that was about 8%. And they asked the same question of far left extremism, and how many of them were willing to use violence to keep Donald Trump out of office. That was a much higher percentage than 8. So that's what I think about those people, and it's kind of like modern day urban guerrilla warfare. Not all right out war, but the disgruntlement we've seen with MAGA supporters and their one-off attacks on people, and that is an issue. That is an issue. So we would have to watch out for that. Oh wow, thanks. Thank you. Is that loud? Was that loud? But that's what I'm more concerned about than I am about the Supreme Court. Yeah. You better say, hey, back to my clients. Y'all heard Uncle C say, yeah, y'all heard the crumb statue come in here. I might bring her in later. Rachel Maddows was on Monday, had me thinking about this and the January 6th coup still going on. Yes. I think what people fail to realize is that January 6th wasn't a one-off, and those ideas didn't go away. Those ideas didn't go away. So we're still dealing with the ramifications, but those people are still there. You know, most of those people were not arrested and charged. Most of the people that participated in January 6th went back to their state governments, went back to their homes. I mean, look at how many of them were public officials. Look about how many of them were law enforcement officers, you know, that just went home, no charges. So yes, and they are still bent on the same thing. They have the same complaints that they had on January 6th. So that's why I say the ballot phase could be over on November 5th, one way or the other. One way or the other. Because like I said, we are still dealing with the faction, you will call it, of half the population. You know, Donald Trump is not happening in a vacuum. The meltdown, it still amazes me after watching people that happen to be black that still support him after what he said and how he behaved towards black women, except Harris Faulkner, of course, because she's a bedwench. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, am I really sorry when I said I'd already formulated as soon as I said her name, I was gonna say I'm sorry? Well, anyway, moving right along. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't pick it up and walk around. Harris Faulkner is a Rocky Raccoon. Harris Faulkner is a Rocky Raccoon that did everything in her power while she was on that stage to dismiss or to soft land the action of a racist and misogynist bigot. that was disrespecting black women and our blackness in front of. How do you, how do you not understand? He said these things, and and then for him to say, some of you all are black journalists out here. Excuse me. The entire conference is literally the National Association of Black Journalists. And in front of that, you start, when did she become black? Your ancestors started blood quantum and the one drop rule. And you get on stage and somehow, Katrina says, hello, Bella. Somehow you think the thing to say is, when did she become black? You know, I have to make a video, and I have to say this on a video too, because has anybody else noticed that the same people that happen to be black arguing about Kamala Harris, her Indian heritage, are the same people who happen to be black that argue that they are the indigenous Indians of this land? Let that sink in. You can't make this up. All these people out here speaking out are the same people that happen to be black that are claiming that they're indigenous to Turtle Island and they're the original Indians, but yet it's still they're getting on Kamala Harris for embracing her actual Indian heritage. You can't make it up. A black man, ex-best friend of mine, is MAGA. It killed our friendship. I just don't get it. I'm gonna tell you, Jeannie, I stand by what I say. I know a lot of people had these changes of heart after June the 27th, after Thomas Matthew Crooks missed, and they were like, "Oh, we got to turn down and do this and do that," and yeah, but they didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of that. No, Democrat wasn't on that route. There wasn't a Democrat up there. And I stand by that. I told you, I don't care what happens to my enemies. I don't. As a matter of fact, send me the cash app for if they go to prison. Let me know what we can do to put money on their books. Yeah, if I wasn't your friend the day before your mama died, I'm not. Mm, mm, I'm not coming with kumbaya condolences on the day she died. I'm not going to care about the mental struggles you're having after she's dead. I'm not. I'm not going to care who died in service to trying to save her life. Not. Because the way I look like it, everybody that was at that rally stands against the indemetrical children. You drag your children to the rally and they don't have anything. I'm not. But at the end of the day, every adult that was at that rally was there of their own free volition. And every adult that was at that rally stood in opposition to trans rights, to teaching critical race theory when it comes to true and accurate history, to the rights of women to control their bodies, to every reasonable extension of rights and privileges to minorities. They stand diametrically opposed to. So we're not friends. Not only we're not friends, we're literal enemies. So why do you think I care about you? And that's because most people are used to this frenemy stuff. I don't have frenemies. I don't have frenemies. I have people that, and it's a difference between just not liking each other. There are people I don't like that I wouldn't let burn up. I would piss on if they were on fire. I wouldn't let them just burn up if I could stop it. But there are some people, enemies, that if I see one on fire, I'm pouring gasoline on them. Big difference, right? Big difference. So MAGA supporters standing diametrically, they stand diametrically opposed to everything that we have been fighting for. And I can't do it. I can't stand with these MAGA people claiming to be Christians. And I can't, I'm gonna tell you, um, that's who they are. Christianity, as practiced, not in essence, but as practiced, has always been led by a certain amount of hypocrisy. You say I'm not offending any Christian because I believe your spirituality is separate from your religion. Anyway, I'm as a spiritual person. But even that, if it makes you better, I don't need an external book to give me a moral compass. But even saying that, I can still respect your choices as long as your choices don't interfere with my existence. And I am not, and as someone who never adopted it in essence, I'm also not going to pray to the same God that for 400 years sat idly by while my people suffered to chattel slavery, while they were singing Come By Here, Old Rugged Cross, or Amazing Grace, and they got none. So, no, I'm sorry, that's just not how this is going to work. I even gave up one side of my family because they went MAGA. I never get that mindset. I have given up family members because they were homophobic. I have beat up family members because they were homophobic. I have disavowed family members because of stances on. Remember one time I got in a conversation about genocide in Darfur and Rwanda, and we were talking, and it was family gathering. And for Black, family gatherings, we always wind up at a table with a lot of food. So we were sitting there, and we started talking because that's what we do. We talk, and I was talking about the genocide that was going on, and they said, "Oh, that doesn't affect us. Why should we care?" I said, and before I knew it, I said, "Bitch, what?" It doesn't affect us. Everything that goes on in the motherland affects us. So how do you sit there and disavow the pain and suffering of people? And of course, they didn't take time to me calling them a bitch. And so we proceeded to, if you didn't have your food by then and you didn't get it because I proceeded to drag him across the table. But yes, and that was the last time we spoke. So if I'm willing to cut off family members and over this thing we call justice of socialism, social justice, if I'm willing to do that to a family member, understand I knocked my nephew out at a park for a homophobic comment he made to some members of the LGBTQ community that were barbecuing in the park also. Yeah. So if I'm willing to do that to people that I share genetic material with, you can best believe when I say I am enemies, I mean just that. I don't mean this go back, let's reevaluate, let's talk about it. None of that. I don't mean any of it. Once you have Maya Angelou taught me, once people show you who they are, believe them the first time. See, that's the problem with a lot of marginalized communities. They allow people that they should never allow back into their communities, back into their communities. You know, I've had, and this is the thing, I'm gonna tell you, Black queens have saved a lot of people around me. They have saved a lot of people because sometimes you all extend grace, and I might listen to them, but I will listen to you. And they're only safe when you're around, by the way. What's up, Shawnee? They're only safe when you all around. My bestie can protect people only when she's around. Because she leaves me alone with this person, it's over. And she knows it. And all the people I respect know that. They know I respect them. But yeah, given I will throw them off of a building if you leave me with them. And at the end of the day, I think we need to adopt that mentality because when has anybody who has ever done something deplorable to our communities ever not repeated that action eventually? When? Every one of these celebrities that every so often has to get up and make an apology for some racial BS that they did, they have a history of apologizing. They have a history of being forgiving. Yeah, I'm not in the forgiving business. I'm not. I'm not in the forgetting business either. People think I am because of how I act about little things sometimes, but I never forget that you crossed me. So if I don't forget people who cross me, I'm not going to forget people who cross my community. I'm not going to forget people who cross any of the communities I stand in unison with either. No, especially in this day and age. And I'm not here. I know people think because I bring receipts and I do, people think I be educating people I be going after. No, I be educating the people who don't know. The people I go after who choose this, they choose the clown suit they're wearing. I'm not here to educate them. I don't, there's not a video on my page that you can point to and say this was about when I'm truly in drag mode that I was trying to educate them. No, I'll be trying to educate those people who pretend like they knew before I educated them, but didn't know until after I educated because they didn't want to be on the receiving end. A black queen neighbor was my hero when I was a child. I never forget her taking care of me. Yeah, future for Vice President Harris is horrible. They attack her education, lineage, color, morality, and integrity. And today is Friday. And today is Friday. I mean, not to be dismissive, but that's nothing new for us. That's just a day's work. And it's not like I'm being dismissive, but it's like the people who just act like this is new. Where y'all been? Where y'all been? Coretta Scott King, no matter how I felt about her husband, um, and all the civil rights movement, Coretta Scott King was the epitome of black excellence, black integrity, all of it. And people had the nerve to do the same things to her. Exact same thing. See, I know history well. And that is one of the issues I always raise. I know history well. You cannot teach on the level in which I teach without having perspective of more than just yesterday. So when we see these things, they are rooted in a past that has always perpetuated these same things. Our integrity is always questioned. Our education, we're never, I had people, people attack my education with my criminal record. That's what they attack my education. Like somehow that underscores or devalues everything I've learned and know. Because you rarely meet people who try to meet me on an education level. You don't. You meet people, it's like today, I had someone in my comment section under a comment, and like, are you gonna ask him about his criminal record? You understand there are literal pages dedicated to my criminal record across social media. See, I'm one of those people, I don't even worry about getting doxxed. My address has been on social media, and only people did was send the police to my house. None of them showed up. So, and I warn you, I am built differently. I understand that. But this is the thing. People will always attack people of color, black people, marginalized groups in that same manner. In that same manner. No, Jeannie, I hate to break it to you, they're not crazy because they don't show up. They are not crazy. They have lots of sense because at the end of the day, they don't show up. because I stay showing out. They don't show up. You also definitely know about being a fella. Yes, I do. I do know about being a fella. Humble. You also definitely know about being a fella. Yes, and so does Donald Trump. I'll tell you one thing I don't know about being. I don't know about being somebody that a woman goes on a date with that would never go again. I don't know what it's like to have a conviction for sag assaulting a woman in a dressing room. I don't know what it's like to touch somebody against their will. Yeah, I don't have a guilty verdict in a civil case to the tune of $1, much less 88 million of them. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what that feels like. But yeah, somebody does. Your Lord and Savior and Master does. Um, Remind me, Jay, to mod you on that other page. I love you were modded over there. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. And an insect, like I say, I look humble. I don't give a damn. Do what you want to, say what you want to, but at the end of the day, um, yeah. Who wants to be led by a felon that has SAG assault charges? Who wants to be led by a felon that has a young lady who, when she was 16, is now explaining in detail how your Lord and Savior and Master um, illegally and immorally touched her? Yeah, yeah. Olivia, Olivia, I think Jay needs you on the other page right quick. Yeah, Jay, remind me, Jay, to mod you on that page. And I don't care. I don't create echo chambers. I don't mind. But if you want to have that conversation, then have it from a position of knowing what the fuck you're talking about, because you won't show up either. She was 13. Yeah, she was 13. Yeah, I think Olivia just shut him down. But yeah, at the end of the day, these things matter. These things matter. It's not the conviction I have a problem with. It's their convictions. I don't have a problem with a conviction. I don't. Hell, we let Mayor Berry back in office, right? But I do have a problem with the type. I do. I don't believe there's anything hypocritical about acknowledging that not all convictions are created equal, especially when we're dealing with our community. Um, all our great leaders were felons. Malcolm X was a felon. My idol, Fred Hampton. I didn't mean, I didn't mean to. Sorry, I didn't mean to put that in there. I was talking to somebody. Oh no, that's all right. Because when I saw it, I thought of the code. I think you have a mod on the main account. Yeah, Penelope, you're on the main account. Yeah, it's someone over here. If not, I'll ping pong you. Like I say, remind me, Jay. I got you. Greetings, just a girl. Greetings, everyone. And once again, greetings everybody out there in GCPR land. We're talking. I am interacting with people that are in the live. I'm trying to repeat the question so you understand what they're asking and what we're talking about. We almost have the app finished, so we will be getting that out, and I will have a text number by that time where you can text in and ask questions during the show also. Give me a few more weeks, and we should have that under wrap. I don't know. I got to make sure. I guess I'm gonna have to get an 800 number, um, since it'll be international on some of you all. But I'll work it out. I'll talk about it before then. So actually, that's what I was talking about because the movie's on Disney. I like, yeah, I like, I would like to see some of it's another book, not Angels and Demons, not the, um, Symbol, Sign. It's another book by him that I would like to see become a movie. Yeah. Greetings and salutations. A Google number? Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, I gotta look into it and see what we need to get. Yeah. Yeah. My brothers in the Masonic order? Yeah. Not those kind of Masons though. So, how you all feeling? How you all feeling going into this election? Do you all feel better now? I was remember, and I told you I'm not going to be petty, but now that it's been forced to happen, do you all feel the same way? Even though you were talking about losing friends. You know how many people I have lost in my circle online because number one, I've been talking about Joseph Biden and stepped down ever since last year. But I said, I think I posted about it 2 or 3 weeks before it happened, and I said it was going to happen before the convention. And people were telling me I didn't know what I was talking about. Yes, Interview with the Vampire is a book series of books by Anne Rice. Yeah, yeah, and it's Interview with the Vampire. Next season is going to be from Lestat when he becomes a rock star, and that's the book that actually takes. That's the second book in the series as far as writing goes. If you have ones that go back before even Interview, but yeah, I have had people that got mad at me because I was stating the same. And now that people have said the same things that I was saying, now that he stepped down, everybody's saying it openly. I remember the George Clooney letter, and I asked people, what would they think if President Obama did not endorse the same position, right? And all these people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. They just trying to get rid of Joe. I never understand the enamored relationship with Joseph Biden to that point, except to say that y'all need old white men to save y'all or appear to save you. I never understood why you all, especially the Democratic Party, especially after 213 years, um, why was it such pushback from the people who said they would vote for Joe Biden's corpse? Why wouldn't you vote for his vice presidential running mate? I never understood that. And now that people are seeing what is happening and what comes to fruition, some of these people are acting like they didn't say these things under my comment section. Even though going back and deleting your comment does not matter to somebody with ejected memory. I just thought I'd let you know that. And I'm not going to be any more petty than that. Well, maybe. I did make a whole video about it. So I think I'll leave it at that. But I just want to know how people are feeling now that, everybody, the white people have validated my point. I just want to know. And it's safe to answer even if you didn't say that. But I just want to know. I want to know, do you think um, you are going to maintain this energy? What's up, Kevin? Greetings, salutation. This energy. Yeah, the name of the series is Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, my favorite vampire creator. And my favorite witch creator too, because the Mayfair witches aren't a joke. And I like when we get to Thanos, and I like when she merges them also. I definitely can feel a real positive energy since the announcement. I'm gonna tell you what it reminds me of. Um, this reminds me of the final 100 days of Barack Obama's first campaign for president. It reminds me of that, but I'm also going to say it is actually more intense than that. As intense as Barack Obama was, and I'm gonna tell you what happened that Hillary Clinton didn't do in 2016, that Barack Obama did so well in 2008 and carried over to 2012, was he built a coalition. He built a real coalition, not just, he didn't just run on the fact that he was the first black man. He ran on building a coalition of the very people that we say we stand in unison with. His coalition, and it doesn't help that it helps that you live in Chicago in the shadow of Fred Hampton. But his coalition was the same coalition of people that Fred Hampton reached out to and said, hey, listen, it's us against the establishment. And in this case, you got enough establishment people that were joining your coalition, because even the establishment wants favors from the president of the United States. And they could read the tea leaves even before some people did. And you add to that mix what has been missing in this country since the civil rights movement on a strong level, and that is young people. Elections like elections, inflection points require the energy that the youth bring with them. And that energy is what Kamala Harris was appealing to in Georgia. It's what she appeals to. You know, we talk about, you know, if you don't know, just then you'll learn something right now. Every black person knows what code switching is. Every marginalized group actually knows to some extent what code switching is. And that's what I think is so funny. And I said this once. I made a video about, you know, what's understood needs no explaining. And that's what they're trying to get to. They're trying to understand, like, well, she was in Georgia and she was pandering to, if you're pandering with Megan Thee Stallion, you're doing a good job. If you get Megan Thee Stallion to come, that's her age range in this day and age. You got Megan Thee Stallion. Then we got people saying, oh, you got these, you know, these people that are out of touch. Well, she was twerking, and I don't want my president to, well, no, your president wasn't twerking. Megan Thee Stallion was twerking, and nobody else should be twerking when Megan Thee Stallion is twerking, right? So that's just the reality. It's like I watched the video that the Republicans have put out, and it's a video with Kamala Harris literally at a cookout. I don't think they thought this one through too well. She's literally at a cookout, and she's dancing like for my case, it would be my favorite cousin or somebody's favorite aunt. That's what she's doing. And they thought that was a bad commercial against her, when nothing more than it made people realize that, yeah, y'all spend all this time talking about she's not black. Here she is at the cookout. Here she is at the cookout in auntie cookout gear, doing the auntie dance. Doing the auntie dance. Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion, and that was the PG version. But it's and that was it. And the PG version was good. Because if you're going to have conversations to people, you meet them where they are. And people that twerk vote too. People that twerk vote also. People that listen to Quavo, they vote also. We are definitely voting for her as I told my family, I don't care. And then people are like, oh, yeah, y'all just voting for her because she's black. For over 300 years, y'all have voted for who you all voted for no other reason than they're white. Then because they're white. So spare me. I told you, spare me. Because number one, it's not even the insult you think it is. It's like, that is not the insult you think it is when we look at what we have. If the defining factor, you believe what you want to. You believe what you want to. If that was the case, we would have been in the same position in 2019 when she was running for the presidency. If that's the case, we would never got Joe Biden if we just voted for her because she's black. Yeah, she's grown, evolved, and she's the best candidate for the moment. That's it. There are things I know now that I didn't know when I was 30. There are things I've gone through that make me a better leader today than I would have been 30 years ago. Yeah, you don't want the me from 30 years ago. Yeah, right. It's not that he wasn't just as intelligent, he was just more ruthless. Now I'm ruthless with a purpose. So at the end of the day, the Republicans and the Trumpicans, because there's really no Republicans in the party anymore. They're all Trumpicans because Liz Cheney, um, Adam Kinzinger, Mitt Romney, all those moderates Republicans are gone. None of them were at the convention of the Legion of Doom. You got them speaking out. You got the Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan, saying 9 minutes. All right, we got 9 minutes in GCPR land. If you would like to join the conversation and you're in a country that you can get me on social medias like YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, please join the conversation there. If you can't, we'll be back on tomorrow night nope, sorry, the weekend is off. I will have a Saturday show soon. I'm in negotiations to do a Saturday show, music show. It'll be just a music show. But if you can't join me, check us out. We'll be back Monday night, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and join the conversation. Like I say, I'm working on the app is getting almost finished, and then we will have a text message so you can text in, and I'll make sure it's international. I don't know how, but I usually put my foot in my mouth, but then I have to make it happen. I will make it happen. All right? All right. So that is where we are. And I keep telling people, there are a few points in history that I call inflection points. And one of those points was between when two people, sometimes we have large inflection points, like the point we're at now, or we have vital inflection points because one person can decide a different way to go, and Dr. King was that one person. Yeah. When Harry Belafonte and Dr. King had the conversation, and Dr. King said, I feel like I've integrated my people into a burning house, if he would have said, when Harry Belafonte asked him, what do we do? Dr. King said, we become firefighters. And that's why we're firefighting now. If Dr. King would have put everything he had behind the idea that instead of becoming firefighters, we should have became campers. And we should have became campers and bought our marshmallows, our chocolate, and our graham crackers. And we could have picked up some sticks along the way. And when he said he felt like we have integrated our people into a burning house, we should have stepped out of the house and allowed it to burn while we roasted marshmallows and made some s'mores. That was a major inflection point. But when he decided that he was going to convince his people to become firefighters, we have been in service to the same system that treats us as third-class citizens ever since. Ever since that moment when he elected for us, because at the time, no, we didn't become freedom fighters. You missed what I said, obviously. We didn't become freedom fighters, and we couldn't have become freedom fighters from that point. Because as long as you're in service to the system that you acknowledge with no strategy. See, that's the thing. We became firefighters with no strategy. All we were doing was running around trying to put out the fire that the system caused. And instead of, if we would have just stepped back, we could have came back in and built the system up and made it in a way that reflected the values that we are fighting for still today. But this country is becoming more diverse, and they are scared of becoming the minority. This country, that gets me when people say this country is more diverse than the country that actually split and had a civil war. This country, I hate to break it to you, actually, we are more united in purpose now than we were when this country was literally divided. This country was literally, not just ideologically, but literally divided amongst terms. I mean, this is a physical divide. So I hear people say that, but it's really just a counter to the fact that all they're talking about are two sides. And they say, "Oh, it's so diverse." No, it's not. It's just those who believe in liberty and freedom and those who don't. And they're still living next door to each other. And they're still trying to figure out ways to sing kumbaya with each other. So no, when the country was more divided was when they said we don't know, not only do we not want to live next door, we don't even want to be governed the same. And then they took their idealisms because it was easy, and they made a line, and it was in service to slavery, and they passed it off. Everything else was built on that: economics, of the right, states' rights. All that was built on the foundation that the most divisive thing in this country's history has literally been the enslavement of Africans in this country. So it's kind of a, when you say we've never been this divided or it's so divided, that's just a belittling of the fact that the country literally split into different governments along those lines. And not along those lines because either the North or the South cared so much for the African and American, but they cared about who controlled the African and American for their economic benefit. So, yeah, in this day and age, there are millions of people that vote for Trump, but those same people are still trying to enjoy the benefits of our enslavement. But now they have to live next door to Africans, Asians, Indians, and Latinos as well as others. And they hate the idea more so that they can't control us more than the other. It's about control. 3 minutes, we got 3 minutes in GCPR land. 3 minutes until I have to sign off. But it's more about control. It's like, understand, Master loved black women. He loved black women as long as he could control black women. Men love women as long as they can control those women. And I don't mean control just like where you're going. They want to physically control. And that is the issue. When you cannot physically, mentally, emotionally control somebody, then you, for women, you all have all heard it, y'all become the B words or the C word. Because as long as you smiling in a man's face that doesn't really like you, but can control you, as long as you're allowing him to control you, that is this country. As long as this country can control women, look on that stage with Donald Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists. Who did he never call nasty on that stage? Who did he never disrespect on that stage? Harris Faulkner. Because Harris Faulkner put herself in the position to be 1040. All right, you all. Just one moment. Just one moment, Radio Land. Let me clear this. What's up, GCPR network and out there in GCPR land? This is TNathan, and you have been listening to Conversations with TNathan. Thank you for joining us. If you can't click over to any of the other platforms and join us, we'll be back here Monday night, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And as always, it's been great. I'll see you all then. All right, we are radio clear. Radio clear, after party. Okay, a few more minutes. Yeah, and you understand that it wasn't because Rachel Scott was wrong about anything. What did he get mad? Oh, you didn't say hello. You didn't greet me. You didn't bow down to me. That's when she became nasty and fake news. It's kind of hypocritical being on stage with somebody from Fox and calling everybody on stage fake news except Fox, the one person that represents the network on stage that was sued and lost over $750 million judgment against them because they made false statements against Dominion. You can't make this up. You call everybody on stage fake news except the people that have lost lawsuits over fake news. Oh my goodness. You. And then, do you love the shade? You love the shade that Harris Faulkner, during all this time, was talking Mr. President, and Rachel Scott in jail was like, Mr. Trump. You gotta love it. It was like, yeah, Mr. Trump. Yeah, Mr. Trump. Yeah. And then watching Roland Martin eat him up in the audience. Yeah. Yeah, he ate him up in the audience. He ate up all the. Why aren't you mad Kamala Harris didn't show up? Kamala Harris wasn't the nominee until Sunday. Yeah, we didn't expect her to show up. She has a schedule. She wasn't the nominee. She was. We invite nominees. She wasn't the nominee till Sunday. It's a convention. Do you understand? It was like, do you all understand how conventions work? We plan these out in advance. Yeah, Donald Trump's team had to come in and do security and all that. What do you think the Secret Service had to do? They just say, "Oh yes, sure, we'll be there." But it was priceless. It was priceless to watch this exchange, and like I say, you're sitting there, and I feel like after he started, if you were watching it live with me, I even got quiet because I was like, let him talk. Let him talk. This is one of those cases where if you let people talk long enough with that level of ignorance and low intelligence and racism intersecting, they're going to tell you just who they are. And they're the best walking advertisement of what you stand in opposition to. That's it. He showed you care so much about the black community, but you got in front of a room full of black journalists, the black journalists, and you went there. Greetings, what's up, pirate? It's as old as slavery, not you know what I'm talking about. It is. It is. Yeah, she transitioned into two positive presidential optics to for conservatives to adjust to. Yes, and you remember Parrot? I think Parrot was in here when I was telling somebody I was in somebody's live and Parrot, we were in there, and I was telling people about optics and how all these people y'all follow on social media, and they don't even know, like they act like we don't live in a country that is founded in the modern age on optics. Elections are won and lost on optics. And that's why some people overcome bad optics if you know how to manipulate them. I'm gonna tell you, even though I don't like her, Kellyanne Conway understands that. Kellyanne Conway understands optics. And one of the reasons that Donald Trump is going to find himself in a harder battle this year than he did in 2016 against Hillary Clinton is because he did not listen to her, Kellyanne Conway, when it came to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance's optics are really adding to the. This is like, from the time of the debate to the Sunday when Joe Biden announced he was stepping down, everything went the Republicans' way. From the time of the debate to the time he stepped down, everything went their way. And a lot of it did with the optics of the debate. Optics of trying to tell us that we didn't see what we saw. All that went against them. And then you add to that June the 27th when Tim when Thomas Matthew Crooks missed, and you get that stance, you get the blood, you get all that whole new optic, and then you get the Legion of Doom National Convention in Milwaukee optics, and they came out of that looking, they were really set. They were really set. Because what had happened, they were set amongst the people who had made up their mind. In the Republican Party, they had the energy and everything. Now it has been a complete turnaround. What about my criminal history? What about it? Are you new? Hold on before y'all ask me. Are you new? What about it? See, do you all come in here? Do you all come in here with that question? Like, I'm scared of my criminal history. So you come in here like I'm scared of my criminal history. What about it? Is your mama scared to tell you who your daddy is because she don't want you to? She doesn't remember which one of your uncles conceived you that night? I don't know. Write a letter about it. Write your congressman about it. Write your congressman and tell him that somebody with a criminal history like mine um, is better looking, cooler, and all the things you're not. They can't answer. He said they can't answer. I don't know what they be looking for. Do they be? I mean, when people say that to me in here or on social media or they leave these comments, I'm like, what do you be looking for? I literally have put my mugshot on on here. Yeah. So and then Kamala stole the show, and it was it's what the Democratic Party needed. And then all the people was like, oh, she can't do it. She can't do it. She showed you she could do it in 24 hours. 24 hours. That lets you know that people like me were right all along behind the scenes because everybody fell in line within 24 hours. Within 24 hours of Joe Biden stepping down, Kamala Harris it was the smoothest transition since Lyndon B. Johnson stepped down. It was even smoother than that because the contested convention, I was right about the convention, but it's not going to be an overtly contested convention like 52 was because of the fact that she rounded up everything she needed to do within 24 hours. That's how you can know the difference between somebody who knows what they're talking about when it comes to politics and people who just talk about politics. All those people who were telling you all it couldn't be done, they didn't know what they were talking about. And some of them you're still listening to right now. Some of people still be listening to those same people that said it couldn't be done, and I watched them act like they were on board with it all the time. It's really funny. It's extremely funny. Yeah. They are shook. That's why they keep attacking her. They're scared. Yeah. It's and they don't keep attacking because they can't find anything to attack with. Because Kamala Harris is a black woman with Indian descent. So there's really nothing new she's facing. These same things she faced running for the Senate, running for every office she's held, the same kinds of innuendo. And this is what gets me, and I tell people, when Clyburn, and I don't like Clyburn either, from South Carolina, when he made the deal to get Joe Biden, when they won count, and he was like, they went in and they got everybody else to throw their support behind Joe Biden, except Bernie Sanders, who should have been the nominee. And they made a deal about you would pick a black woman to be your vice president. That was the deal. That was what they wanted. She was black enough then to be vice president, but now all of a sudden she's not black enough. Hey, I had this guy, and then they moved the goalposts, right? Because I think people don't realize blackness is a worldwide phenomenon. Then they talk about, well, she's not black American. She's black. She black and in America, just like all the rest of us. No matter, unless you're a Rocket Raccoon, then you just happen to be black in America. But the same roads, and please don't play the colorism game with me because I will eviscerate you. Because um, our sisters that were in the slave house got treated, they were also subject to not only the beating and abuse, but also master attention. And Missy Ann's attention because master was attracted to her. So let's not play with me there. What's up, Bobby? I see you on the backup page over there. Damn those Rocket Raccoons. Yeah. Anybody want to meet me in Chicago on August the 19th? Chicago is actually, I probably should go because Chicago is actually my number one most popular city on social media. I'm most popular in Chicago. It edged out Dallas. Ooh, it edged out Dallas. I was like, wow, I'm more popular in Chicago than I am in Dallas. And Atlanta fell to third. But the numbers didn't change. My numbers in Atlanta are still the same. A lot of my new followers are from Chicago, and Dallas. And I welcome you all. I'm happy to have you. I'm surprised. Mississippi, I got everybody in Mississippi. We just don't have enough numbers wise to catch up with y'all. I got Mississippi on lockdown, but South Dallas makes sense. Pretty sure that Crockett's District 2. Oh, yeah. You know, I live an hour away from Chicago. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I just found you. I'm in Atlanta. What's up, Atlanta? I have grown. I have a love-hate relationship with Atlanta. Like, I think I had to watch and before I talked about Atlanta, I had to go make sure I watched the Freaknik documentary because I was like, let me see, make sure they didn't have any cameras I didn't know about, right? Because a lot of us were in there and we like, yeah, we'll make sure we're not in this documentary. Because those were, but I think I spent too much time in Atlanta. And as I got older, I got tired of the pretentiousness of Atlanta. Atlanta is a lot, it was like, it was too pretentious. It was too pretentious. But Atlanta's gotten better lately. But it went through right after the 80s, it became this hyper pretentious place where people think because they work for Lucid Technologies that they had made it. And they're still living paycheck to paycheck because they're trying to live a lifestyle that doesn't keep up with their pocket. So that's a lot of pretentiousness in Atlanta came from that. But Atlanta's finally, it's getting better. It's getting better. Last time I was there, um, I plan to be back it's next year. I'll be back next year. I'm not gonna try to make it this year unless something happens. I grew up here, and yes, the Joneses were real here. Yeah, it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta. So I've always liked Chicago. I've always liked Chicago. Chicago is on my list of top 5 cities in the United States. Of course, New Orleans and Miami are number 1 and 2, and they switch depending on which one I'm closest to at the time. New Orleans probably edges out Miami. Miami because it's just a beautiful place and I love the energy. New Orleans because I love the energy and the vibe. New Orleans is a whole vibe. Chicago is a whole vibe. But I like Houston. I like Houston. Houston's in my top 5 also. Houston's in my top 5. But I don't like cold weather. So a lot of northern cities, I got to go in the winter and meaning the summer. Chicago in the winter is not a place I strive to be in. Yeah. We gonna wrap up. Give me a couple more minutes and then we'll wrap up, okay? Okay? Okay. She just wants my French fries, right? She just wants my French fries. If I give her a fry, she'll hold off for a minute. Are we planning a family road trip? I'm gonna tell you the road trip I want to plan next year is I want to reverse the Freedom Riders tour. Well, the Freedom Riders ride. It wasn't really a tour. I want to reverse that. I want to find a group of people that we can reverse the Freedom Riders ride and talk about what has changed since they originally took the ride in the 60s to now and what hasn't changed. That's what I would like to do. And I would like Gotta find some people to go with me because I can't finance it by myself. And we'll get a bus, an RV, and we'll just reverse the ride. Yeah. If y'all like that, let me know. And if you're interested in it, be something we're interested in. I'll get Olivia to organize it. Get Olivia or Penelope to organize it because uh, yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm great at organizing for myself, but you see, I can't even be on time to my own show sometimes. But I need somebody that can be organized from the fact that they're gonna keep us on schedule because I'll wander. I'll be like, hey, let's do this. He'd be like, what? The bus is gonna leave you, teenager. I'll be wanting to stop at the yarn capital of the world and see the big ball of yarn. That's not on the tour, but it's really just right like 5 miles this way. I want to make videos with the big ball of yarn. Yeah. Or we be like, TNathan, how do we wind up in Vicar? How do we wind up in Harrison, Tennessee? Well, since we're here, we might as well go visit the Klan compound. Then you find out we're armed. All right. I need this on. T needs his own RVR to do the side. I also need a driver. Because, oh, yeah, you can't just give me an RV because we're just gonna be sitting there. Somebody comes along and drives it. Because I hate driving, and I gave it up a long time ago. I can still drive. I just gave it up. Yeah. Nobody, when how you at a wedding and somebody throws the garter or the flowers out. Yeah, someone throw keys out. I just look at them for sale. I'm not looking at them. Hey, you drive. I'm looking at them like, hope someone gets those keys. Yeah. Bobby, you a driver, Bobby? See, Bobby say he'll drive, but I look up and Bobby be in a movie. Bobby be like, well, I can't go, TNathan. I got a movie schedule. I'm like, you better bring the movie on the road with you. The movie gonna be Bobby driving us across the country. Yeah, that's gonna be the movie. Yeah, gonna have the whole crew. They're gonna have to shoot on location. Tell them you'll meet them at the next location. We're gonna have a movie along the trail of the Freedom Riders because Bobby's committed to driving. Yeah. He gonna say, yeah, y'all, I gotta drive. We don't mind taking him along a route, but you just along a time, but you're driving. You just better tell them, they better plan the film on the way. What's wrong? Uh, you what? Hold on, y'all. There you go. Go ahead. Let's see what they do. Crumb snatchers. See, when the crumb snatchers here, Bella has to go check on them. Yeah, Bella's a female dog, so she has to go check on see. She would like us all to be in the same room at the same time. If we all were in the same room at the same time, Bella would be great. She would be great. But every now and then, if they hear and she's like, okay, what they doing? I need to go check on them. Make sure nobody messing with them. All you're gonna do is bark and come get me. I hate that driving from New York to Miami, but I'll do an RV. Yeah, and what we do is we'll meet up and we'll see you from New York. So we're gonna wind up in New York. We'll wind up in New York, so you don't have to worry about driving back. My clients are always innocent. Your clients are crumb snatchers and a spoiled dog. Your client, you represent spoiled. Yeah, all your clients are spoiled. Yeah, Olivia is the crumb snatcher and Bella's attorney at law, and they're all spoiled. Yeah. I got a teenage male. I keep having to deal with him, challenging me like it's not Piggy's. Hey, Pinky, like you see the video, right? And Pinky only loves my bestie, right? But she tolerates me. But this is the thing. Pinky acts like she's 9 feet tall and bullet resistant. That's it. It's like you can literally pick up Pinky and chunk her into outer space, and she acts like she doesn't know that. Pinky acts like she does not know she could be. Oh, you Enzo and Pinky's lawyer too? How you gonna be Pinky's lawyer? Pinky bites. Even when you fight for Pinky's rights, Pinky will bite. Yeah, you better bring food. And when she finishes eating the food, she might still bite. Now, there is one way to keep her calm. I hate that drive. Yeah, look, you get to set the schedule though, Bobby. You get to set the schedule. Yeah, that's one thing we don't. As long as you stay on the path, you get to set the schedule because we're not going anywhere without the drive. I'm not going anywhere without the drive. Yeah, I'm following the keys. I'm following the keys. I'm not just trying to, I'm not gonna try to take them from you though. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So that's a thing. Love you too, Bessie. All right, you all. It is great hanging out with y'all as usual. Thank you for joining me for the show. Thank you for joining me for the after show. Next Monday, we're like I say, we're gonna lead up to, and I'll make decisions about if I'm gonna be in Chicago for the 19th, because when you're doing the show, we'll be in Chicago. If I'll let you all know in advance. Um, and all right, Bobby. Good night to you also. But we're about to get out. I'm gonna finish eating. Take Bella out, and like I say, I might go live. I probably won't go live Sunday because that's my reading day. We got to read. But after I finish, depending on if I finish reading early enough, I might go live. I might go live tomorrow. Just chop it up and so let something happen. I'm gonna go live and something happen. But one thing before I go, have you all noticed that you haven't heard from the Republicans except Donald Trump when he was like he wants to know the details of the deal? But you notice that when Brittany Griner was released, when they did a prisoner swap for Brittany Griner, you had Republicans talking about she wasn't Victor Boot, that she wasn't worth trading Victor Boot because he was an arm dealer, and they were glad to have her home, but we shouldn't have made the deal. You remember that? We got 3 Americans out of the newest deal, and Paul Whelan, and this is not a reflection on we shouldn't have done it. But I'm like, where are the Republicans now when we traded off a spy, an assassin, and 24 other trades that we had to coordinate with 7 different countries? But have you all heard Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kevin McCarthy, or Mike Johnson, or any of these people who made all that noise when Brittany Griner was traded? Victor Bluth was a washed up 80s, 1980s, 90s arms dealer. We got countries to release literal spies and assassins. Literal spies and assassins. And where are the Republicans now? Yeah, I wonder what's different. I wonder what's different. And that's what I'm gonna leave you all with tonight, wondering what's different. All right. All right, you all. Y'all have a good one. I will see you all later on the rebound.